there, everybody. It's Maggie from Personal Euphoria with today's plank story. If you don't want to plank, stand up with a wide stance, and you're going to side bend, keeping your hips still. So try not to let the hips sway with you, but let your arms go with you. So one goes overhead and one reaches across your stomach, and you'll go side to side like that. Always making sure you let your head go too. All right, so Matt and I met friends in Pittsburgh this weekend, and when people asked what we were doing for the weekend and I told them Pittsburgh, I got like the same expression. It was like an expression of like pity and why would you go to Pittsburgh? And in fairness, it wasn't our original plan. We were going to go to Baltimore, the bridge collapsed, we rerouted. But Pittsburgh was great. We had so much fun. We really enjoyed it. There was a lot to see and do, and we couldn't even do everything we wanted. Like, we'd have to go back, and we could fill another weekend easily. It's a city with a lot to offer, but it's very manageable, very walkable. The architecture is beautiful. Like, if they had an architecture tour, I'd want to take that. We went to the Andy Warhol Museum. It was great. They happened to have a sidewalk chalk festival where everyone was really talented. We went to this other sort of different museum called the Mattress Factory, which is, I think, in support of new and up and coming artists. It was bizarre in good ways, bizarre in bad ways. Some of the art was, in my opinion, really bad, but it was quirky. Some of it was very interesting and interactive, but like neat. We did the incline to the top of Mount Washington. They have a Mount Washington there, which is a section of the city, and you can have this great view. We drove out to Falling Water. I mean, just so much to see. It was a great city, and the people seemed sincerely friendly, like just nice and a little bit of a laid back pace. So if Pittsburgh's not on your list, I would add it. The only fail we had, and we made the most of it, we had fun with it, was we were all excited for the Heinz Museum to see the Mr. Rogers artifacts they have and to see the history of ketchup. I'm not the biggest fan of ketchup, but who doesn't want a good history of ketchup? And those aspects were good, but otherwise the Heinz Museum seemed like so random and lacking a theme. It was almost odd. And then they have this temporary exhibit that just really was almost laughably bad. It was called A Woman's Place. And I truly think the intent of this exhibit was to like try to tell some women's stories, and they just didn't do the best job at it. So we see like the heading to go into this hall, A Woman's Place. And I say to Matt, I don't like the name of that. And he's like, yeah, well, but I think they're having a play on words. I say, I get it. It just rubs me the wrong way. I don't like it. And you walk in and immediately there's these three like giant pictures of women in the kitchen, which again, I don't think they're saying women belong in the kitchen. I think they're saying they don't. And we're going to show you all the things they do. But then it like really emphasized clothing. I mean, you walk in and it's about clothes women can wear, and it's showing sports uniforms and tutus and like, so the variety like women could wear, but it's still a little bit like, oh, like clothes is what makes us. And maybe it is. Some people are into clothes, and I don't know that I'm right or wrong on this, but it proceeded to be like the most condescending exhibit I've ever been in. It had like a line like, playing sports will make you closer to your father. And then as you got further down, it was like, if your parent played a sport, it gets more broad with parent, you can bond over shared sports. It was like, it was hard to be a journalist in a petticoat. So if you're a female journalist, here's what your go bag should have. To which you'd ask, if all they listed off was like a laptop, sneakers, pen, pencil, why would it be different than what a male journalist needs? Like, the color scheme of it was like hunter green and bubblegum pink. Just a bad choice, even if it's not related to women. They had a bikini and talked about how the bikini was invented in the 40s because they ran out of like fabric during World War II. One, I mean, ancient Romans wore bikinis, so no. And two, I don't know. I mean, I looked online. Lots of sites say they were running low on fabric. It just seems so sketchy to me. Then all our clothes would have gotten smaller. It doesn't make sense. So anyway, you can skip the a woman's place exhibit. And again, I don't think the intent was negative, but like we were laughing at it. Other patrons were like laughing at how ridiculous it seemed, and it was geared towards adults. So they had a little bit of a fail, but a sort of laughable fail. And with that, I hope you make a trip to Pittsburgh and see a whole bunch of wonderful things. I hope you have a great day and keep moving.